The Hidden Owner, Part 3, The Rival's Game. Maya watched as Damien Reeves strolled out of the restaurant, his confidence lingering like a bad aftertaste. She had expected him to show up eventually, but not like this, not at the perfect moment to strike, when Royale was vulnerable. Turning back to the stunned staff and guests, Maya took a deep breath. "We will be closing early tonight," she announced, her voice steady but firm. "I need time to restructure and ensure that Royale operates with the standards my father built it on. For those of you who remain, I will meet with you tomorrow morning." Ethan looked at her with quiet determination, understanding the weight of what had just happened. "I'll make sure everything is shut down properly," he assured her. Maya nodded in appreciation, then turned on her heel and left. The next morning, Maya arrived at Royale early, the sun barely peeking over the skyline. The remaining staff, those who hadn't been fired, gathered nervously in the dining area, waiting for her. Ethan stood among them, looking far more confident than he had the night before. He was dressed neatly, already stepping into his new role as manager. Maya took a deep breath before addressing them. "I know last night was chaotic, and I know some of you are probably worried about the future of this restaurant." She looked around the room, making eye contact with each of them. "But let me make one thing clear. Royale is not going anywhere." A murmur rippled through the group, a mixture of relief and uncertainty. But Maya continued, "There will be changes. This restaurant used to be a place of excellence, a place where customers, all customers, were treated with respect. That is what we're going back to." She gestured toward Ethan. "Ethan will be stepping up as manager. I expect you all to follow his leadership and work with integrity." Ethan straightened, clearly still adjusting to the idea of his new position. But Maya could already see the spark of determination in his eyes. One of the chefs, an older man named Carlos, stepped forward. "Ms. Carter, I've worked here for over 10 years, and I've seen this place change under bad management. I stayed because I love this restaurant. I'm ready to see it return to what it was." A few other staff members nodded in agreement, and Maya felt a flicker of hope. But just as she was about to continue, Ethan's phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen and frowned. You might want to see this." He handed the phone to Maya. Her stomach twisted as she saw a breaking news headline. "Royale in crisis? Mass firings and humiliating scandal leave restaurant in chaos." Maya's jaw clenched as she read through the article. It painted her as a ruthless business owner who had fired her entire staff on a whim, making Royale seem unstable and mismanaged. Even worse, it included anonymous quotes, probably from Victor and Claire, claiming that she was unfit to run the restaurant. And at the bottom of the article was a statement from none other than Damien Reeves himself. "It's always sad to see a once great restaurant fall apart due to poor leadership," Reeves commented. "But we at Ember and Gold believe in stability and excellence. We welcome any talented professionals looking for a fresh start in a strong and successful establishment." Maya's grip tightened around the phone. Damien was playing dirty. He had planted this story to make Royale look like it was collapsing while advertising Ember and Gold as a superior choice. Ethan exhaled sharply. "This is bad." Maya's mind raced. If the public believed this narrative, reservations would plummet, staff morale would drop, and worst of all, customers would begin flocking to Ember and Gold instead. Damien wasn't just trying to weaken her. He was trying to destroy her. A dangerous proposition. Determined to fight back, Maya spent the next few hours calling public relations experts, drafting a response, and reaching out to loyal customers. But as she strategized, a surprise visitor arrived at Royale. A sleek black car pulled up outside, and out stepped a woman in a navy blue dress with an air of authority. She removed her sunglasses and smiled. "Ms. Carter," she greeted smoothly. "I believe we need to talk." Maya eyed her warily. "And you are?" "Monica Hayes. I represent Reeves Holdings." Maya's stomach twisted. "Damien sent you?" Monica smiled politely. "He wanted me to extend a proposition." Maya crossed her arms. "I'm not interested in anything he has to offer." Monica's smile didn't waver. "I think you might be once you hear the terms." She handed Maya a thick envelope. Maya opened it and felt her pulse spike. It was an acquisition proposal. Damien was offering to buy La Royale. "You have to be joking," Maya said coldly. Monica remained composed. "It's a generous offer. Given your current predicament, it might be the best way to salvage what's left." The Hidden Owner, Part 4, The Final Showdown. The night of La Royale's VIP event arrived, and the restaurant buzzed with energy it hadn't felt in years. The tables were set with pristine white linens, golden candlelight flickered against polished silverware, and the scent of Chef Carlos's finest dishes filled the air. This wasn't just a dinner. This was war. Maya stood near the entrance, dressed in an elegant midnight blue gown, exuding confidence. Ethan, now fully stepping into his role as manager, stood beside her, greeting the first guests. Among them were renowned food critics, top influencers, and longtime loyal patrons who had once adored La Royale before its decline. Everything had to be perfect. And then, just as she expected, Damien Reeves walked in. He was dressed sharply in a tailored suit, his usual smug smirk firmly in place. "Bold move, Maya," he said smoothly, glancing around. "You're putting up quite the fight." Maya smiled coldly. "Unlike you, I don't run from challenges. I fix them." Damien chuckled, unfazed. "We'll see if tonight changes anything. Because if you fail, the only thing you'll be proving is that La Royale is a sinking ship." Maya refused to let his words shake her. Instead, she gestured toward the dining area. "Stay and enjoy the food, Damien. Might be the last time you get to taste real excellence." His smirk faltered just slightly before he walked off to find his seat. The turning point. As the night unfolded, Maya watched carefully. Every course served was a masterpiece. Chef Carlos had outdone himself. Ethan and the remaining staff worked flawlessly, providing impeccable service. The guests were delighted, murmuring about how La Royale felt like it was back. And then, the most crucial moment arrived. Maya stepped onto the small stage at the front of the restaurant, a microphone in hand. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice steady, "thank you all for being here tonight. Many of you know that La Royale was founded by my father, a man who believed that every guest, regardless of status, deserved the best experience possible." She let her gaze sweep over the audience. Unfortunately, in recent years, that standard was lost. And last week, when I walked into this restaurant as an ordinary customer, I saw firsthand just how much my father's vision had been forgotten. A murmur ran through the room. "But I promise you, those days are over." She paused, then turned to look directly at Damien. "Some people want you to believe that La Royale is collapsing, that we're unstable. But what they don't realize is that true strength isn't about avoiding setbacks. It's about how you rise from them." She turned back to the crowd. "Tonight, I stand before you to say that La Royale is stronger than ever. We are returning to excellence, and we will not let anyone," she flicked her gaze back to Damien, "anyone destroy what we've built." The audience erupted into applause. Some even stood, clapping in agreement. Damien, for the first time that night, looked less certain, and then came the final blow. Maya gestured to the screens around the restaurant, which suddenly flickered to life. Footage began playing, clips from security cameras showing how she had been mistreated by her own staff, the humiliation she had faced. But the most damning clip of all? A hidden recording of Victor and Claire laughing about how they would run this place into ground before jumping ship to Ember and Gold. The audience gasped. The truth was undeniable now. Damien's expression darkened. He had underestimated her. Maya smiled. Checkmate. The end game. After the event, social media exploded with praise for La Royale. Influencers raved about the food. Critics praised its return to form, and customers flooded the restaurant with reservations. Meanwhile, Ember and Gold found itself under scrutiny. People began questioning Damien's tactics and some of his own staff. Seeing La Royale's rise, left to join Maya's team. Within a month, La Royale was back on top. And Damien? His restaurant suffered from the backlash. He made one last desperate attempt to offer Maya partnership, but she simply smiled and said, "I don't need you, Damien." "I never did." With his plans in ruins, Damien finally walked away, defeated, a new beginning. Maya stood outside La Royale, watching as customers filled the restaurant once more. Ethan joined her, adjusting the name badge that now read, Manager. You did it, he said, grinning. We did it, Maya corrected. Chef Carlo stepped outside, shaking his head with admiration. Your father will be proud. Maya felt a lump in her throat, but smiled. This is just the beginning. La Royale is back, and this time, no one will take it from us. As she looked at the glowing restaurant sign above her, she knew one thing for sure. This wasn't just her father's legacy anymore. It was hers. The end.